Big day of football going on. Who wants to go first?
Greg, are you any closer to a resolution on the college football playoff deadline?
We have a 12-team format. The issues are going to change, so we'll see.
Are you any closer to
I don't
figuring
know
out whether you're going to change?
I think we've got a pretty good idea of what we think. We just had an AD meeting focused on the 16 opportunity. I think that provides more access for everyone, but not sure everyone agrees with that right now.
Are you guys looking at anything greater than 16?
Who's you guys?
At the SEC?
No.
No.
No, we'll do research. You know, when we went to 12, we spent a lot of time digging in around the impacts. I don't think any of that work's been done. So we're focused on 16. Same thing, same message I've had since we gathered in Destin and took a deep dive.
Do you have to have 100% agreement on any change?
No.
Unanimous?
No.
Is there a percentage that you need?
The SEC and Big Ten need to agree.
And can you?
Sure, the possibility is endless.
Greg, how did you feel about the governor of Louisiana getting involved in a coaching search and AD at one of your member schools this week?
I don't know, I have feelings. That's just a reality. Watch the week play out with interest. And had a change in the athletic director role. Scott came in 2016 to A&M and worked with him for, 9+ years. I had a good working relationship. I know Verge talked to him yesterday. So a lot of change. We'll see how that plays out. But I don't feelings.
As a matter of principle, should governors be involved in member schools' businesses?
Well, that's really up to governors.
It's true.
I've had a number of conversations. I've met Governor Lander. We've not talked since I saw him on the sideline of the Sugar Bowl back in January. But I think I've had healthy relationships with governors across our footprint. Not a lot of conversation about what happens in athletic departments, but I'm certain they all have an interest given the visibility of our universities and visibility of our athletic programs.
Are some of the buyouts for coaches kind of alarming to you?
Those are decided locally. I don't have that level of buyout, so you can ask those who make those decisions about their approach.
You need another agent.
Nah, love what I do and where I do it.
Greg,
Makes those decisions easy.
Jeremy Pruitt's been given a little bit of a reprieve. Was that decision, you think, just or reasonable that he should get to be an analyst during the show cause?
Well, I think you're asking me a question that really is dictated by someone other than me, so that's not up to me. There was an infractions case and an outcome, and my understanding, I haven't reviewed what's happened this week, is his engagement with an athletic program is under that show cause, so it seems entirely appropriate as long as it complies with that show cause order.
Greg, Cody Campbell's continuing his quest to drum up support to combine the conference rights television into one negotiation. What are the pros and cons from the SEC's point of view?
I'm not focused on somebody else's opinions. We're focused on doing things with excellence, positioning ourselves well, making wise decisions. We'll have opportunities that I think should be about how we make decisions, not how there's an attempt to force us to do a set of decisions with others. The NFL has, 32 teams, the NBA has 30 teams. When you start to try to put 132 teams into a pot and think everybody's going to come out with a smile on their face, that doesn't seem well informed. But we'll keep working on our situation and our circumstances, and that's the appropriate focus.
How's the Hulu subscription treating you?
Actually, really well. In fact, my wife called, couldn't access YouTube. Said, yeah, we've got this little hiccup, and so it was about 5 minutes to alter what was a preceding small-level Hulu subscription. I think I saved money too. Somebody tweeted back at me that I can do that because of my salary. No, I think I saved money by doing that, and it's seamless access.
You obviously tweeted about it. I've seen member schools in the SEC and ACC talk about it. Well, why so vocal about this particular carrier dispute versus maybe some of the ones in the past?
We've had others we've been vocal about. When a provider goes dark and we have a large number of fans impacted, I want our fans to have access. I want both sides to work it out. We set up intentionally what I think is the most fan-friendly relationship. You go to ABC and watch all that. we announce kickoff times in June and July for pretty much the entirety of the season. Then we have this midday and primetime variance. All of that's great, but people need access, and so my desire is the two sides work this out so our fans can have seamless coverage. I enjoyed the YouTube experience. I used to have DirecTV. I was an early adopter. I was a guy that went to Best Buy, bought the satellite dish, went up on his roof and ran the cable through his wall. And so I switched in this new dynamic to YouTube, liked it, but I'm not going to go dark on things that matter to me. So that's why I communicate.
What's your understanding of the status of that dispute? You have insight into that?
They don't really consult me, right? They're not saying, hey, what do you think?
Yeah.
I'm like, I
Do
think
you know if they're close
I
or
think you
anything
should
now?
solve this problem. I have no idea. I know they're working on it. I respect that the two sides have their interests, but my message is pretty simple, and that is, I've watched the TV ratings for this season. I've watched every Saturday. The peaks around this conference for all of our games, all of our teams are pretty spectacular. We want that interest to be respected and for our fans to have access. Pretty clear.
I'm curious.
Plus, I don't want to lose all my NCIS and Deadliest Catch recordings on YouTube. So I haven't canceled it yet, but football is more important than Deadliest Catch.
How curious do you get each year when the first committee rankings come out? Do you pay much attention to it and try to figure out what's going on, or do you not sweat it?
I pay attention, but I could go back and look at my grid that tells you what happened in the first week of November back in 2014 and every time thereafter, and so I don't sweat it. I'm interested. You also have to remember we're tipping off basketball next week, so we're in that. There's a lot going on stage of life, and we've got a women's soccer tournament that starts Sunday. I think we're playing on Tuesday too. So I'm interested, curious, but we'll see what we can learn.
Has that curiosity peaked with some of the new metrics that will be in play for the first time?
Look, I'm looking forward to just hearing the context that's presented, noting that it's early and there's a lot of football to play. There's a couple traditions, right? One, we're going to have a 6-way tie the first week of November, then we keep playing. The second is don't overweight or overweighting the CFP rankings. Look at it with interest, and we'll keep playing football.
Ray, do you think that the TV ratings are in part driven by the fact that the league is so competitive? The teams that used to struggle are now pretty darn good now.
My conversations does not boil down to one element. I do think competitiveness is a piece. I think our venues, the compelling nature of the whole atmosphere draws people in. The consistency and availability of watching, like those 3 games on ABC, which I think are positions that are earned, but because of the interest, kind of build on themselves. I think the level of excellence in our teams and the expectations that people have. I think there's a lot that goes into that. The support our universities provide, the prominence of our universities, and even today, I've been receiving emails from people outside the conference who say, hey, look, I'm a fan of whatever conference, but I always watch SEC games. You need to help them figure this out so that I can watch and have my side interest too. So I think there's a lot of factors that combine to build those ratings.
I think Ross Dellinger might have reported this, that he said that they would either probably, if the college football player would stay at 12 or go to 16. Is that what you see transpiring, either one of those two numbers?
Ross gets to have his opinion.
Yours is?
We'll see. I like to do that in meeting rooms with people, try to work through it with colleagues.
Oklahoma got Ole Miss as a traditional rival. I mean, an annual rival. Is that how difficult was that process to checkerboard all that stuff together?
Always difficult. You go through, and there are a set of things, like the Oklahoma and Texas game that are obvious. Tennessee and Vanderbilt, in-state rivals, the Egg Bowl, the Iron Bowl. We go through that. We're watching Georgia, Florida, and so there are 16 teams. There are 3 annual opponents. That's 48 playing opportunities, which represent 24 games. 12 of those games, I think you put up on a board, and everybody would say those are the ones. So now you have 12 other games to match. We tried. Remember, it's not a 3-game season. It's a 9-game conference season, so the balance is across all 9. And at some point, you have to make decisions And part of that is balance, part of that is geography, and then part of it is you have to make the schedule work. I think we did a pretty good job of that. And when you look at like the old divisional comparison, noting that we were 14, and the competitive spread, it was about 24, 25, 26 percentage points in win-loss column. We have that down on a 4-year analysis, I think, right around 8 or 9%, which is less than 1 game win-loss variance among all the schedules. So those are the right sort of things that inform decision making. I think we made that work pretty well.
Oklahoma's now in their second year in the SEC. How do you continue to see kind of their fit and kind of your relationship, with their administrators and everything like that?
We started in 21 with their leadership and regular communication, so I'm 4+ years into those relationships. And we brought the athletics directors into our athletics directors meeting pretty early, brought the presidents and chancellors in a year plus before they entered, the coaches the year before they entered. So I think in many ways it's been seamless. Nice to see that logo in different places. The rivalries have developed. Big games kind of over and over. So it seems natural at this point.
Kurt, was there one primary factor that led the league to go from 8 conference games to 9?
No, we talked through those over time. When we expanded, balance of the schedule was a key issue. And when we asked, well, what does that mean? It was the ability to see people with greater frequency, bring schools through our communities, send our teams to other communities on a more frequent basis. I think the ability when you're not playing everyone, the more conference games you play, the closer you are to competitive fairness, if you will, and determining a champion. We learned during that COVID year when we played 10 games, the viewership was higher than we experienced. Like, people want to see those games. So those are some of the factors. There's never, really in life, at least in my life, there's not a lot of single variable decisions that are assigned for me to decide or guide or lead on.
Will it be weird not having Joe Castiglione in some of these meetings going forward?
I haven't evaluated that yet since he's been there.
Yeah.
When I had 9 years when he wasn't, I guess 7.5 when he wasn't in there, and we've had, the last 4 or so with him. He's been a good colleague even before he was part of this league, and I'm sure we'll continue to have a relationship. But, we have a lot of change. We went 2 or 3 years as an AD group and never had the same group of people at an in-person meeting just because of change. So, if you're me and are unable to adapt to change at this point in your career, you've got an issue. So, appreciate Joe. Look forward to celebrating him. He's still going to work hard, I know, right to the end. But we'll continue to adapt to whoever's in the chair.